Hey Taurus, welcome to your reading. We are doing an I-ching reading over here on YouTube, but we're going to start with a card. We're going to split the deck and take it from the bottom of the deck, the Empress card. So this is going to give us sort of an overall idea of what we might be dealing with on the I-ching side. So this is about self-confidence, about knowing what you got and showing it off, about abundance, about arriving someplace where you feel confident and you feel good and you've got what you need and you feel protected, you feel safe, and you feel good. So this might be a quest for that, or this might be, you actually arriving there for a time. All right, so now I'm going to throw these coins. There are 3 coins. This is what they look like. And I'm going to throw them 6 times, and this is going to give us 6 lines. And we build the hexagram from the bottom to the top. So we have 2 tails, so that's going to be yin energy, unchanging. 2 tails, more unchanging yin energy. 2 heads, so that's yang energy, unchanging. Let's go. All right, for Taurus, and whatever Empress energy we have here. 2 tails, again, unchanging. I wonder if we'll have a dynamic line for you. We did not have a dynamic changing line for Aries, but that's because there wasn't anything left for them to do. They just had to wait something out. Okay, 2 tails, more yin energy, unchanging. And we have a rolling one. 2 heads. Oh, we have the 2 hexagrams, the same ones stacked on top of each other. So I'm going to go do my calculations. Okay, Taurus, so what we ended up with was the trigram mountain over the trigram mountain. So mountain is a very concrete, visible thing. It might have a name, it might have significance, it might be a landmark. It's a very physical thing. And so mountain over mountain created the hexagram 52 called mountain. And the literal translation is, he looks out from the back, but not the body. One walks his yard and finds him not. So, and the idea behind that is like focusing on one thing, like overall the body's fine, but we may have a little tweak in our back. So attention to detail. This is like not seeing the forest for the trees. Like there's a whole big forest. There's a huge mountain range out here, but you may just be focusing on one peak and one detailed piece of information. And so it's not giving you the overall picture. What I wanted to say, or what I wanted to see here is, well, we have the physical is like a little extreme, or a little, what is it? It's very yin, it's very receptive, it's very passive. But overall, there's really good balance sort of in the, like, when we're talking about as above, so below, we're talking about like as above it is very balanced, but so below is a little out of balance, or a little bit, there's a gap between something here. So attention to detail may divert you from seeing the bigger picture, and you may be missing the overall point. So when we're talking about the Empress energy, I kind of see a possibility here for you to, you're fine, but there's like a little detail. It's like the princess and the pea. There's like a little pea in the mattress. And it's really, and by pea, I mean like physical. That's always so funny, the princess and the pea. It's like, no, she's not wetting her bed. She's having like a little physical, Hey, Jack. A physical little, there's like a little disturbance in the force, and she's all about that and can't sleep at all because there's a tiny little, green pea in her mattress. Hey, I know he's a little bit on a diet, and the machine feeds him in 5 minutes, so he's trying to get me to go give him some food. But he needs to go talk to the robot, the feeding robot. So anyway, but what I found interesting about this hexagram is that is that it was very clear that it's not that the overall picture is great and you're hung up on, thank you for your butt there, and you're hung up on some minor detail, or that the minor detail is perfect, but the overall picture stinks. That's one thing that we didn't get very clear here. So yeah. So it's like mad at me. It's like a dress that you really love, except you're hung up on the way like one little button is attached. Maybe it's a little attached a little weird and you're like freaking out about a tiny detail, but you love the overall dress, you love the overall fit. So, you know, don't get hung up on that tiny detail. But it could also work the other way, where you hate the dress, but my goodness, it has pockets, so let's plunk down our money for this dress. It's got pockets. So it could be one or the other. So it's like you're missing something because you're focusing on one detail, and it's either a detail that you really love and you really need to be focusing on the bigger picture here, or a detail that you really hate. And I'm tending to see, especially since we have this Empress energy here, that you might be in like overall abundance. Overall, things are going really, really well. I mean, your last reading was off the hook amazing. Things could be going really well, but you're sort of getting ruminating or getting hooked into one little detail that might not be quite perfect. And so then you're not able to enjoy all the stuff that's going well because you've got a little hitch here and that one little button on this dress that you love. So overall, everything may be great. I just, with the Empress here, I'm seeing more that overall everything's great. We're just getting hooked up on we've got a little hang up somewhere that we kind of need to go back to looking at the bigger picture, the whole mountain range. You're kind of micro focusing on one little peak here. And there's a whole beautiful, gorgeous mountain range. And so with the Empress card here, that's what it's indicating, because we don't have a card, we don't have something so far. We'll see what the rest of these cards have to say, but we don't have anything so far that says like that everything really sucks, but you're delusional over one tiny detail that is working out. That would be such a negative thing to say. Okay. Anything else here? Okay. Now we got plenty of cards we're going to consult with, so we're going to just I'll take the bottom one of that junk. Okay. New moon in Scorpio, work through your fears. Aries had this one as well. So new moon in Scorpio. So you might be, this would again be something that where like all the indications are that everything's well, but you're worried about one thing. You're worried about a tiny thing, or you're worried, you're afraid of something. You've got an anxiety here, despite other indications that things are going really well. A new romantic cycle begins, new moon in Libra. So again, another new moon here. So compromise, teaming up, a new relationship, or it's a really balanced relationship. You're heading into, you might be meeting someone new, and it says romantic cycle begins, but I don't necessarily see this one as romantic. This can be new friendships, new relationships, new work partnerships, new work relationships. You might get a new coworker, something like that. A new cycle, a new relationship begins is basically my experience with this card. It's not necessarily romantic. I wish that wasn't there. I might Sharpie that out because man, that's the little P in my pile of mattresses here. Compromise, teaming up, and so balancing out. But both of these have you heading into sort of new territory, something very new that you can't see necessarily where it's going, and you're having to deal with some fears. It might be a new person that you're meeting, something like that. You might be really worried about it or really focused on that. So the energy is gaining momentum. You are going somewhere, you're getting somewhere, you're getting there. And then we have share your voice, come out of the cave, persecution, expression. So this is like you may have hidden away a little bit out of fear. And so this is like, open up to this new person. You have a new relationship here, a new cycle here, and it's time to sort of open up and share something. I mean, the reason why you haven't been sharing, it's a good reason, like, the persecution, you went and hid from civilization for a while because you didn't like a response. But now it's time. It's saying it's time for you to start talking, for you to start interacting and leave your little cave, leave your hovel, and share your true feelings about things. I don't know if it's safe now, but it's time now. So, and then how this relates to this mountain over mountain. Well, this is interesting. We have the pyramid mountain over these natural mountains. So we have this man-made mountain sort of rising up above sort of some natural mountains. And oh, look, we also have mountain range right here. Mountains over mountains. Maybe there is a mountain range. Maybe you're going to the mountains. Right? And you're gaining momentum. You're overcoming each mountain as you approach it. And there's still more to go. That's really interesting that there's mountains over mountains, but there's some sort of fear. You're hung up on something about it. You're going there, but you're having some sort of fear or anxiety, but you need to look at it very clearly about what it is, because what do you want to do with those? Okay, Sleeping Beauty's dream. This could be a hint. Needs for security, subconscious needs for security. Or so we all have a need for security. Well, not everybody. Some people are just like chaos and they love it, and that's their homeland. But you are. This is talking about like a need for security, and it could be very subconscious. A desire for security, a desire to be the Empress, and a need to be the Empress and to feel secure. And this work through your fears could be dealing with an insecurity about a new relationship or a new cycle in a relationship. You need to speak up about it. But a new cycle in a relationship or a new relationship, you might be feeling very insecure about it. It could be triggering some insecurities in you. And this is where your focus needs to be broaden to the larger picture. But I mean, don't just ignore the fears, work with them, feel them. I hate feeling my fears, but when I don't, they affect my behavior in a way that looking back, I can see, and I hated it. You know, that was a dumb decision to make, and I made it based in fear. So that's what we're trying to avoid here, is making a decision based in fear. But the need for security is very strong though. And the fear of insecurity, being financially insecure, being emotionally insecure, all of that can have a subconscious effect on our behavior. So so you're being asked to like pull that up into the light, because right now it's in the dark. Pull some of these subconscious fears up into the light and look at them. You know, they might be this little pea in the mattress, and I cannot not think of that. I was once the princess in The Princess and the Pea in a play we did for a children's theater thing. And I just never thought of it. But anyway, work through these fears. You know, find that pea in your mattress, I think is what I'm thinking of. There's got to be another word. Let's call it a bean. Find the bean in your mattress, okay? In your pile of mattresses. Find it, pull it out, look at it. What's this bean trying to tell you? And then we have Can You Hear Me, which is really interesting given this one. We have this sense of like having tried to communicate or wanting to communicate, but you've been exhausted, you've maybe been shut down, you've silenced yourself because of the either complete lack of response from somebody else, or either someone's complete lack of response or a response that was disheartening and discouraging. So these two together are very interesting. Communication, frustrations, and exhaustion have silenced you. But I think, and it might have you feeling very insecure and really focusing. Perhaps you're focusing on one part of the conversation and not seeing the overall gist where something's going. So that can work both ways too. You can have like an overall really healthy relationship with someone, and then they just say one or two things that kind of stick in your craw, I guess, and get stuck in there and maybe triggered some insecurities, maybe made you feel unsafe or something like that. There could have been some little comment in an overall really healthy relationship that kind of shut you down. And it could work the opposite. You could have an overall really unhealthy, terrible relationship, but you focus on the good things, right? We're told to do that, focus on the good things, but you focus on the good things, so you're having a difficult time seeing how crappy this person and this relationship treats you overall. So, but you have the capacity to walk away from anything you want, because you are enough, you have enough, you are sufficient in and of yourself that you don't have to put up with a larger thing. So either way, and it's not 100% clear, again, so far, I want to say overall things are good, but you're focusing on the negative. So it just depends on who you are, I think. And if you're telling yourself things like just focus on the positive, that can mean that you are avoiding this huge, massive issue that could be affecting you. There goes the feeding robot. Now Jack is going to be happy. So you could be having this like massive, it's an issue and it could be detrimental to you, but you're so focused on like, well, they said that one nice thing. So it depends on how, like paying attention to your inner monologue, whether because you're too focused on a detail is what this is saying. And it would be better if you looked at the whole overall picture. And then we have Morning Dew Girl. So this is about sadness and grief. But you're going to grow from this experience. You're going to grow from the sadness. Your heart's still really tapped into something from the past. And it could be some sort of comment or something that was made that really shut you down and really caused this whole grief process, and maybe even caused you to be afraid of new friendships, new relationships, worried about that kind of thing. But yeah, I think you can maybe restart a relationship with someone that some of their comments may have caused you insecurity, but you have grown quite a bit since whatever happened. And you've been able to use this experience to your best advantage and your best interest. But there's definitely grief here. I think this kind of matches this. Like something was communicated or tried to be communicated, and it was either shut down or you weren't heard, you weren't ignored, and it really hurt your feelings. It really hurt you. So I would say in that situation, just be looking at the overall for the relationship. Is the relationship overall very healthy and beneficial? Or is it every time you come away, you're like, oh, you're crying and you're upset and you feel shut down? So just looking at, because this hexagram is very clear. It's very clearly avoids saying what exactly the problem is. Ooh, these are two of my very favoriteest cards in this magical little deck. We have Spirit Guardian of Spring activation. So something may come that reawakens sort of this past issue. A conversation may be revisited. You may be, called or asked to do something. So there's going to be a call to action here, basically. There's some sort of thing that you're going to be asked to do. And then we have Dragon Power. And this is one of my favorite cards. There's like a sense of protection here. You're very protected. But I also see with these other ones, like there's a sense of taking back your power from these insecurities and these fears, because you're actually doing really well. You're gaining momentum. You're going where you want to go. You're competent. You're capable. You're going where you want to go. And so I feel like this is a sense of having your power returned to you. And I feel this one is really interesting because it has a sense of personal empowerment, but also has a sense of it being protected for you. Like you not needing to, like you resting while your power regenerates and is returned to you. And there's a very protective vibe here. And so there could be a sense of protecting yourself or being protected. I always feel this is like being protected, right, while we sleep. There was that book on, I think it's Andy Weir. He did like Mars and the one where they colonize the moon. But anyway, there was this one where anyway, he meets an alien. Earth is dying and it's the last, he's the only surviving spaceship man. And he meets an alien that's going through the same stuff he is. And the alien wants to be watched while he sleeps. And because that's the safe thing. That's how they feel safe enough to sleep, is that they have like a partner that watches them sleep. And so there's a sense here of this safety well, you maybe take a break from something, it's okay, and feeling that empowerment, and I see this with the Empress too, is a sense of empowerment, even if you're on a break, even if you're taking a nap or something like that, and your empowerment and your power is being protected, and your capabilities are sort of being protected. And it's a little bit like maybe you're taking a break, but you're still powerful in this break. You still have a lot of power here. And you're being protected. You're still the Empress even though you're sleeping, is what I'm getting. Or even though you like went to this cave and dealt with some fears, even though you're feeling afraid, even though you're feeling insecure, and taking a break from your Empress power, you're still very powerful. You still have this personal power here, is what I'm seeing. Even in your needing to take a break and needing to be silenced or feeling silenced. And even though you're feeling insecure and all of that, you're still very powerful. And so it's just a little bean in your mattress. That's all that's going on here, is this insecurity and these fears. They're kind of being a bean in your mattress, right? But this is, here's the bean in your mattress. You're sleeping, and here's your power bean. I don't think you want to remove the power bean. You can remove the bean, but not the power bean. Oh, I love that one. Okay, well, if you want to join me over on Vimeo for a more traditional tarot spread, we're going to take this over. This is still going to be our underlying for the reading, and we're going to do a more traditional tarot reading with this card as the focal point. So if you want to join me over there, the link is in the description box. If not, ciao!